Hey everybody, it's Chad with Nobody Else's Auto. Sunday evening, 7 o'clock Central Standard Time. Time for Sunday night live chat. We've already got some viewers on YouTube with us. Sebastian's on, Brian's on. Just kicked in on Facebook as well, the way it looks. So, we're up and rolling. We'll see how things go tonight. Back for some more Sunday night shenanigans. And as always, we are on two formats. I am on Facebook and YouTube. I will be keeping an eye on both formats as we go along. I've got two monitors up, so you may not be seeing all the comments if they're coming in on one or the other format, especially when we get into trivia and auction items. So please keep that in mind. There are two formats up and running. Bill's on. Hit the like button. Thanks, Bill. Lee from New York's on with us. So may take a few seconds to get everybody back on since we were not on last week. We skipped last Sunday night. We'll get into that here shortly. Scott's on Facebook, so we at least know something's working on Facebook. So glad that's up and going again. And like I said, it looks like a few people are starting to get notifications. When we miss a week, sometimes it takes a second to get everybody back into the groove on things. So we'll give everybody a few more seconds before we really get rolling. Mark from Maine's on Facebook with us. Kim's here. Alex on Facebook as well. Glad to see you guys jumping back on with us for another Sunday evening of fun. So anyway, lots of stuff been going on. If you've been catching up, keeping up with the videos, got the Hudson badge tonight. I'm sure some of you guys missed the Hudson badge last week. We'll get that kicked off early tonight. And let's see, here we go. Some people on Facebook, YouTube. David W. is here. Chris is here. Dad's on Facebook. So, and David W.'s got his beer mug out, so he's ready to go. So we'll just keep hammering you with it. So Old School made it tonight. Anyway, let's see. Alan NC's here. Joe made it tonight. So anyway, last week we did skip Sunday night. I mentioned to you a couple weeks ago I wasn't going to be around last Sunday night. I had some stuff going on. Gary's here. He missed the swap meet, but he had to work that weekend. Well, that sucks. Pete's here with us. I didn't want to talk much about what I was doing last Sunday until I experienced it and see what it was really like. We had tickets to an exhibit last Sunday that ran from 5 to 7, so I knew there was no way I was going to be able to make it back and be on because we were out of town for the exhibit, things like that. Don from Nashville's here, but we went to the Auschwitz exhibit in Kansas City at Union Station last Sunday. So it was it was a very interesting exhibit. It's definitely a terrible part of history, but it's also a part of history that we don't want to forget either. So that was something else that, it was neat to see. There was not a lot of actual artifacts like I kind of expected there to be. A lot of replicas of different things, bunks, doors, things like that. But it was an interesting exhibit, though. Let's see. A few more popping up here on Kevin's here on Facebook or on YouTube. Dan made it. But it was interesting to see. To me, I found it a little bit of a challenge to go through because they have those little electronic guides you hang on your neck and you got earphones and it follows you through things. And it was a little bit challenging. You're trying to follow this little thing you got here in front of you and you're missing some things on the wall. So a little bit of a challenge to get through, especially since we were a little bit limited on time since we had 5 o'clock tickets and it closed at 7. Norma's here, Sebastian. I was glad we did it. It was a neat experience. Like I said, it's a tragic time in history. However, it's also part of history. And, the more you know, the more you learn, the better educated you are on things like that. So that's where I was at last Sunday. And like I said, I knew with our tickets being 5 to 7, even being out of town, sometimes I can jump on. But I knew there was no way it was going to work out. Being in the exhibit till right at 7 and then not being able to get back and get on. Gail's on Facebook. Frank jumped on YouTube. Good group jumping on tonight. But that's what happened last Sunday. That's where I was at. Kind of a hectic weekend to say the least. Rusty's on YouTube with the swap meet in Wichita. Come home, unload, jump back in the truck the next morning and head to Kansas City. So that's what happened last week. It was a good exhibit. It was worth going to. It was worth checking out. It was pretty neat. But that's why I didn't jump on. Like I said, I didn't want to talk about it until I actually kind of got a feel for it and see what it was like and see what I thought of the exhibit. But Eloy's on with us. But anyway, real quick, now that we've got some people on, we've got a good group on. As always, check your comments before you post them. Autocorrect has been messing with us. If autocorrect changes something and I can't make out your comment, I will skip it and just go to the next one because I don't have. We got a lot of people on here and it's tough to try to keep it all going when I can't make out the comments. So, obviously, trolls. When we get trolls on, you guys do a great job of running them off. I ignore them, so I won't acknowledge them because that's what they want. So appreciate you guys watching my back on that. And if you're on the Nobody's Show page on Facebook, I cannot see those comments. So please bear that in mind. You can watch there, but if you want to participate in the auctions, trivia, anything like that, you'll need to be on the Nobody Else's Auto page on Facebook or the Nobody's Show page on YouTube. So anyway, James is here. Brian, can anybody see your post? I see that post. Bill, what do you know about the 59 Corvette that's going to get crushed in Kansas because of the VIN tag? I know a little bit about that. That's been a pretty hot topic all over. It's one of those deals that what happened? The car was restored. They took the VIN tag off. They did not order the correct rivets when they put the VIN tag on. They used regular rivets on it. They did a VIN inspection. The KHP seized the car due to suspicious looking rivets. One of the Leo Delper gang, the state representative who is heavily involved with that, has been quoted in many of the articles. I actually talked to him when I was working with the House on that bill that we were working on. So I think it's going to get changed. They are making some changes to the antique vehicle laws in Kansas, I think, based on this. That is how the letter of the law reads. However, they know that there was no suspicious activity, but that's the way the letter of the law reads as of right now. So the car was seized, and that's why it's been hung up, for like 5 years now. So hopefully everything that I've read on the internet is pretty much what I've heard, both through, from some of the state representatives and things like that. And hopefully that situation will be remedied sooner rather than later. I did see an article where I believe Arizona or somewhere is looking at similar type laws to make some changes to them so that there's a little bit of wiggle room in antique vehicles. So hopefully that will make some changes that, need to happen to protect a lot of us, collector car owners. So, but that's what I've seen, Bill. Most articles I've seen are pretty accurate, and hopefully the situation will be under control here soon, and the guy can get his car finally after several years. Jess is here. Tony's here. Jay Russell, have you lost weight? No, I don't think I've lost weight. I think I put on a lot of weight there lately. Rico's here. Jess, anyone know where to get pistons for a 301 poly? That I don't know. Don't know about that. If anybody else can help her out. But the Wichita Swap Meet, it went well. We had a little recap video the other night and had a good time. As always, got to see a lot of friends, which is a big part of it. Sold a little bit of stuff, not a ton. Bought some good stuff. I'm sure some of you guys caught that in the video. But as always, had a great time. John Sandin and his crew did an amazing job. And if you didn't catch the video, they literally almost got shut down on this deal again 6 weeks prior to the event. The city told them that they may not be able to have it, or if they are allowed to have it, it was going to be extremely limited on people in the building. So once they finally got word they could do it, which was only 3 or 4 weeks prior to the event, they still managed to get it pulled off, which is saying something when you've got a building that's 100,000 square feet and you've got 600 different vendors and over 1,000 swap spaces to have organized and laid out to make that event work. So huge shout out to John and his crew for making that happen and getting it pulled off and getting it back kind of on an even keel to where the swap meet is up and going again after the last couple of tumultuous years that they have dealt with at the Wichita swap meet. So anyway, Jason made it tonight. glad you're here. Since Jason's back, we better throw that up there. But anyway, we've had a couple comments pop up about the fire, and I was going to get to that next, so that's why I didn't address them immediately, because I was going to get to that after I finished up the swap meet stuff. Tim from Canada's on with us, so but yeah, if you guys saw the video, we had a little bit of a fire at the yard Monday night. I was not even at the yard Monday. I was still in Kansas City. I got a call about 10 o'clock that night. Fortunately, I know some people in the fire department. A good friend of ours, he called me immediately as soon as he heard it come across the scanner. So we headed out there right away, and literally I got to the gates and kicked the gates open about 20 seconds before the first truck from the fire department got there. So fortunately, the timing was good. They got right in. It did not get out of control, and it was contained in a small area with minimal loss. What had happened is there was the neighbor had been doing some welding, and his welding leads had some bare spots on them. They were hot. They had arced against a piece of metal and started a small grass fire, which came under the fence and over onto my property. So nothing intentional, nothing I had anything to do with. I hadn't even been there since first thing Sunday morning, So fortunately, it didn't get out of control and was maintained quickly. So anyway, make sure I'm keeping up on comments here. Okay, lots of people talking amongst each other. That's fine. I just want to make sure I don't want to miss anybody's comments in the middle of all that. So Amy says it could have been bad. That's true, that if there had been a lot of wind, it could have been really bad. But like I said, and that's, that yard is so overgrown, and I need to start sorting cars out of there and getting everything put in order. But without not having a loader for 4 months has kind of slowed things up. So hopefully I'll have the loader back out there here within a week or so, because I'm still fighting starter issues on the loader. I had the starter rebuilt. Now we've got a starter drive issue with the new parts. So I'm hoping I get a loader out there sooner rather than later. It's pretty much ready to go, other than getting that starter correct before I take it out. Ben with my 37 Street Rods here, Hudson badge. But so like I said, could have been way worse. That one Chevy pickup did sustain some damage, but it was kind of a rough pickup anyway. So not a huge loss. I'm sure it probably ruined a few parts, but it wasn't a great cab. It was, just kind of a rough old pickup. So it was not a huge loss. There was a bus body there. It had a little bit of damage to the firewall, that bus body, but it's just an old bus shell. Jerry from New Mexico's on with us. And could have been way worse. It did burn up a pile of tires. I guess if there's a silver lining, I did get rid of a pile of tires out of the deal. So Tim just made it. Glad you're here. Time Traveler's on with us. So that was my excitement immediately after I got home from Kansas City. Was the neighbor upset? I haven't talked to him. I've seen him drive by a couple times, just waved at him, but I haven't actually talked to him. But like I said, fortunately, it wasn't any worse. It didn't really damage anything on his property, and the damage was minimal to mine, so that's good. But like I said, if you didn't see that video, be sure to go back and check it out. It does look a little scary in the beginning, but fortunately, they got it under control quick, and then we've got some footage of the aftermath and a little bit of footage of the fire department on the scene. Like I said, they did a phenomenal job. Response time was outstanding. They called me immediately as it came across the scanner. Of course, I was flying to get out there. But when I left the house to hit the gate, and they were literally right behind me. So, it was minutes, that they were there. It was quick. It was, extremely punctual. Those trucks were on location. Those hoses were out in way less than 10 minutes from when the call went in. So, to have the trucks literally, and I'm a couple miles outside of town. So it's not, they didn't have to go around the corner. I was a couple miles outside of town. They had to respond, have the trucks out, get out to the yard. And like I said, I hit it just right as far as timing to get the gates open. And like I said, there's no way it could have even been 10 minutes. And they had hoses out on the fire. So huge shout out to the Great Bend Fire Department, the Barton County Sheriff's Office, all those guys doing an outstanding job that, kept this situation from getting a lot worse than what it could have been. So, Mix here, just sitting here thinking 2 words that could hurt our hobby are green and electric, no matter what side. Yep, that's true. Terry's on with us. Jason's a fan of green Mopars. How about that? Anybody need a Hudson badge? Bill, you're going to keep a headlight as a souvenir. I thought about taking that out, Bill. That's why I took a pic, got some shots of it while on the video, because it was weird the way that headlight melted. So if you didn't watch the video, you at least got to go back and look at that headlight, the way it kind of drooped. I mean, it kind of like drooped out as it melted. Pretty wild. But yeah, I was thinking about taking that out, Bill, because that is kind of neat the way that did happen. So but anyway, that was the excitement. That was the story behind what happened and how it got to that point, and unfortunately didn't get any worse. So J Brothers Garage digging the Hudson badge. There it is, everybody. It's going to be a rough night. Everybody keeps talking about the Hudson badge. I'm going to have to keep showing it. It might be a rough night on some of you guys. So the other thing I did while I was in Kansas City, though, on Monday prior to the fire, I went to a place called Micro Center. I don't know if you've ever been to Micro Centers, but they're awesome. We bought some 3D printers. I bought a new microphone, a new wireless mic for my phone. I haven't messed with it yet. I got some other cool stuff, like an attachment to like hook my phone into a computer and stuff. So I don't know. I'm kind of excited about some of that stuff I got there. So maybe I'll actually be doing something that has at least a minute amount of quality in it as far as some of these videos that, as we kind of work through it and I kind of get some better stuff. But man, that place had everything. If it was electronic, they had it. TVs, computers, phone stuff, digital media stuff, cameras, microphones, stands, printers, anything you could think of. 3D printers, resin printers, all kinds of cool stuff. So Jason says he's thirsty anyway, sitting outside enjoying the sunset. Alex is on Facebook. Hudson badge. But that's the extent of what most of my week was, other than some of you guys saw the 66 Pontiac video. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Went and picked up that car. Picked up a few other cars this week, so we'll get to that when we get to the new inventory. But it's been hectic getting reorganized, but at least I'm kind of getting my feet back on the ground. So start getting some stuff done around here. Hopefully get a loader back out to the yard here soon. Mark's on from Syracuse, so glad you're here. Jess says, yeah, Micro Center is a huge place. I loved it. We were there for an hour, probably a little better than an hour. You can spend all day in that place. There's so much cool stuff there. So I was definitely a fan, and I can't wait to incorporate a few of these things that I found into what we're doing with some of these videos. And maybe there's a slight possibility that I might be able to improve some of my quality on some of this stuff. We'll see, because I'm still the one doing it. So you got to weigh that in. I can buy all the equipment in the world, and you still got to weigh the talent in here that's supposed to be using it. So that's it's still going to be a little bit debatable at that point. But it's cool stuff, and I love that. If you ever get close to checking one out, it's well worth going in there and looking around. Even if you just want something, need accessories for your phone or something, stuff is there. But anyway, that's kind of the update on things. That's the update on the fire. The rest of the evening is going to be pretty much the typical layout. We've got some couple of cool badges and emblems to check out that I picked up at the Wichita Swap Meet. We're going to auction off a couple of cool pieces, which is going to get really interesting tonight. I've got something special for the auction tonight. Get your checkbooks ready. Got a magazine that a viewer sent us that we're going to check out tonight. We'll get into some trivia. We'll talk about the new raffle, and we'll talk about the new inventory and what's coming up. So anyway, we'll get into some badges. I'll show you the Hudson badge again. And check out a couple of cool things that I brought home from the Wichita Swap Meet. Starting off with an earlier badge, like we typically do. And this thing is great. I actually got a small handful of super cool badges at the Wichita Swap Meet that we're going to be working on. Wall likes the badge too, so if you like the Hudson badge, you are definitely going to want to stay tuned here in a little bit. But I did find some super, super, super cool badges. Not a ton of them. Got this little bag of them right here. There's a bunch of cool badges in here that we're going to be checking out over the next several weeks. But tonight we're going to start off with the first one from the bag that I got at the Wichita Swap Meet. And this is a different one. This is a new one that we didn't have. This is a new addition to our collection. Mark, 37 Ford truck grill. Do not have anything there at all. This is badges for a Chandler 6. Something I'm not extremely familiar with. Cool badge, white lettering, red and black enamel background. This was supposed to have been like a brass type finish back here. It's just all dull and browned out. But originally that was kind of a polished brass type finish. There's nothing on the back of this one. This would have been one of the pressed on ones. This does have two small holes drilled in it, which definitely detracts from it, where they had it mounted right here and right here. So unfortunately, there is a little damage to this particular badge, but it's so cool that, we definitely wanted to add it to our collection. Like I said, we got some great stuff. This particular badge is a 2.5 inches tall by 2 wide. So we are 2.5 here, 2 across here on this. It is a cool piece. It is different. A lot of you guys dig it. I got a lot of comments popping up on this thing. I didn't know much about Chandler, so I looked it up a little bit on my new favorite website, American Automobile badge emblems or whatever, American Automobile emblems, I think. And what it told me on there was that Chandler it was a group of businessmen, including a gentleman by the name of F.C. Chandler from the Lozier Motor Company, came to Cleveland in 1913 to build their own motor car. Their company was initially called the Emise Motor Company, E-M-I-S-E. But this was soon changed to the Chandler Motor Car Company. The Chandler was a medium-priced, 27-horse, 6-cylinder automobile and was initially offered as a touring, a limousine, or a coupe. The Chandler was an immediate success with first-year sales of over 2,700 units. The Chandler became a popular and well-regarded automobile with sales continuing to grow each year as the range of body styles also grew. The best production year was 1926, when over 20,000 units were built. Jason can't buy anything. Some puke in Alabama hacked his account and helped himself to Subway. So, yeah, that does suck. That's all right, Jason. You can pay me later. You can catch up with me later this week because you're going to want to get in on the auction this week too. So, trust me. I hope a lot of you are going to want to get on the auction because this one piece, I paid pretty good money for it. So, I hope everybody gets excited about it. Mike from New Waverly, Texas is on with us. But that's all right, Jason. We'll square it up later if we need to. But the Chandler Company set up the Cleveland Automobile Company, the company set up the Cleveland Automobile Company in 1919 to build a smaller and cheaper companion car called the Cleveland. In 1926, this subsidiary was absorbed into the Chandler Cleveland Corporation, but there were serious problems in the management of the company. In 1928, the company was absorbed by the Hutt Motor Car Corporation, and Chandler production stopped in 1929. So, and this is actually a 1929 badge. There were two 29 badges, one for a 6, one for an 8. Same thing, only obviously the 8-cylinder had an 8 here versus a 6. Even on the American Auto Emblems page where I found this data, and I'm able to identify a lot of these badges, is was said that even the 29 badges were extremely rare because that was the end of the line for them. They were absorbed into Hupp. Hupp basically just bought the assets for the tooling and the factories and things like that. They didn't need another car company. So that's the story behind the Chandler. Alex excited about the auction tonight. That's good. We'll be getting to it here shortly. BW made it tonight. So that's the first badge of the Chandler, a little bit of history of the Chandler Corporation. And that's what's great about these old badges. These old companies that some of us have never even heard about. We're talking about, we're living the history. We're holding a piece of it. We're talking about it, almost 100 years later. Randy's here from California. So when you look at it and you think this thing's 1929, here we are in 2022, 97 years later, or not 97 years later. How many years? 29 to 2022, almost 100 years later, and we're still hanging out here talking about the Chandler Corporation, all because of the badges and the pieces of history that we still have to discuss them, go over them. Super cool. And that's what I have fun about. Mark, very cool. I bet whoever knew what it was, they wouldn't have drilled it. Yeah. And that happened back in the day. These things, the reason these are still around is they were saved because they were cool. But 50 years ago, they were not as rare as they are today. Even maybe 60, 70 years ago, you remember the stuff I got where most of my badges came from out of Missouri. All those came off cars that were being crushed in the 30s and 40s. Nobody cared. Hey, that looks neat. I'm going to hang it on my wall. So we'll drill 2 small holes in it and we'll put a screw through it. Nobody cared. It wasn't a big deal. But, that's what's cool about it. And here we are, almost 100 years later, still talking about the history of the Chandler Corporation just because of the collections of these and what got saved. So neat piece. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it and had some fun with it tonight and were able to check it out. So it is a nice flat badge still. It is a pretty good, other than the 2 holes, it's in pretty good shape. Great piece to add to our badge collection. Super excited about it. Hudson badge, in case anybody's getting thirsty. Next badge we're going to talk about, and this I also found at the Wichita Swap Meet. This is new old stock, but they do reproduce them from what I found, so it's not a super rare piece because you can buy a new one. What I love about this, still in the AMC package. Right there. Javelin. New old stock in the American Motors package. It still has the shipping label on it. This is about 6 inches long. And like I said, when I punch them up, you can find them on the internet. They make new ones. They're not rare because you can still buy them new. But I love the fact that it is in the original American Motors bag. You see the studs poking out the back. It was never put on anything. And it's a neat piece. AMCs are cool. They're different. And, finding the original package definitely makes it even cooler. This is a late 60s, early 70s. It was common for a lot of the Javelins, and that's probably why they do reproduce it, is a lot of the Javelins, and, from the various years did use this same badge. Of course, American Motors was known for a lot of that. They did use a lot of interchangeability because they couldn't afford to do much else. That's kind of what it amounts to. They were the underdogs. They did what they had. They worked with what they had, and they made a lot of stuff for several years to accomplish the same mission. So, just love the fact that it's in the bag with the shipping receipt, and to me, that's cool. Especially AMC stuff you don't see that often anymore. I love the AMC symbol on it, the American Motors on it, and it is still a cool badge, on top of that. So. Like I said, both those came from, that's right, Mark, still even has good color. Both those pieces came from the Wichita Swap Meet and had a great time down there and found some cool stuff. Like I said, I showed you some of the other stuff that is going to be for sale here in the near future. Kevin digs it with the bag too. That's what I thought. So if you missed that video on the Wichita Swap Meet, go back and check that out. I got I got wingtips for 4748 Chevy. Beautiful tailgate for an 80 to 86 Ford pickup. If anybody's doing an 80 to 86 Ford pickup, I got a beautiful tailgate, takeoff tailgate for an 80 to 86 Ford pickup. 57 Buick grill, 60 to 66 chrome GMC grill. So it was a good haul. Had a good time down there. Who's ready to have an auction? Who's ready to buy a few pieces to add to their collection? Let's check out a few pieces that we're going to sell tonight. And let's see. Oh, Big Job lost his fridge this week. That isn't any good because he lost all the food in it too. So, but We're going to get ready to start auctioning off a few pieces if all of you guys are ready. We'll start off with a few cans, and we're going to work up to the big cool piece that I've got. Check that out. Anyone like a Hudson badge? Just in case you guys are thirsty. We'll start off with another super cool little can. This is a smaller polish can. Probably 60s era is what I'm guessing. I don't know if I see a date on it. Don't see a date on this, but it's in really nice shape. Based on the car, I'm going to call it 60s era. For a can of glitter glaze. Joe's ready to go. Joe says, let her rip. So let's get rolling into the auction stuff if all you guys are ready. How about glitter glaze? This is a super cool can, great condition. Like I said, based on the car, I'm guessing 60s era. Contains no wax, so it was just a polish, no wax. Glitter glaze directions on the back. Cap still on it. It is empty. Bottom's in good shape. So, cool piece on the glitter glaze can. This is the first piece we're going to auction off. If anybody wants to go ahead and throw their first bid out, we'll go ahead and get started on this one. It's a nice can, great condition. Use glitter glaze for automobiles, furniture, kitchen, and bathroom fixtures, and lacquer, enameled, or varnished surfaces. Lee's starting us off at 10 on the glitter glaze can. And it is a great piece. Great graphics, great colors, great condition. Definitely a nice piece. I've got Lee in at 10 to start us off with that. If anybody else wants to get in, we'll check it out for a few more minutes, and then we're going to put it on a timer and go ahead and get rolling on to the next one after we sell this can off. So I've got Lee in at 10. If anybody else wants to get in, maybe Lee's going to get a smoking deal if nobody else wants to jump in on this thing. But it is a nice piece. Oh, if I don't beat it up. So, Alex in at 12 on Facebook. So, I've got Alec at 12. As always, I'm going to set the timer here in a little bit for 90 seconds. Please remember that if you get your bids in early, don't wait till the last 5 or 10 seconds because they don't feed that quickly. So, please remember to make sure I'll announce it at 30. I'll announce it at 60. I'll announce it when we're getting close to 90. But that's how we'll do it. So be sure to, and we always end up missing a few people at the end. So make sure to get your bids in early on the glitter glaze polishing can. We'll go ahead and set the timer for 90 seconds. I've got Alec at 12, and here we go. So if anybody else wants in, be sure to jump in on the glitter glaze can. And we are on the timer right now on this particular piece. So I'll keep an eye on both formats. All I've got Alec at 10 as of right now. So if anybody else wants in, now's going to be your time. We'll let everybody take a drink and think about it while we're going over it. Everybody's probably saving their money for the big one, hopefully. I hope so, because I paid a lot of money for it, so it's got to bring something. So 30 seconds has now passed. If anybody else wants to get in, you've got just under a minute left. I've got Alec at 12. So anybody else wants to get in, we're at 45 seconds. We're halfway done. And keep an eye on it as we come up on a minute. Looks like Alec may sneak this one out at 12. And coming up on 1 minute. 1 minute has passed. Lee is at 13. And we're down to just under 30 seconds left. So Lee is at 13 on this one. And looks like we got 15 seconds left. If anybody else wants in, it's time to get in. I've got Lee at 13. Looks like Lee's going to sneak this one out because we're just about done on time. And that's it. I've got Lee at 13 on that one. That was a steal on that can. So we'll get ready to start on the second can that we're going to auction off tonight. And this is another cool can. It's a little bit bigger. If everybody's ready for this one, we're going to check this one out. This is a gallon can. It's mobile upper lube. It's got the Pegasus on it. A little bit of fading, but still obviously can see everything on it. So if anybody wants to get us started off on this one as we take a look at it, it's got a little bit of dirt on it. Some of this will clean up and it will polish up a little bit. The other side, the sides are blank, but the back has a lot of information on it. The mobile upper lube leads right back in at 10 on that one. Mobile upper lube gives the directions for best results. Use regularly. Add to gasoline in the proportion of 4 ounces of mobile upper lube to each 10 gallons of gasoline. Can be used to top cylinder lubricators. Especially recommended for use in new cars. I had Lee and Pete both at 10, but I've got Alec at 15 on Facebook. So I've got Alec at 15 as of right now on Facebook as we study the mobile upper lube for engine tune-up. As part of a 5,000-mile engine tune-up, use mobile upper lube as follows. Run motor to operating temperature of approximately 160 degrees. Increase speed of motor slightly by adjusting throttle to a fast idle. Remove air filter and pour mobile upper lube very slowly into the carburetor from a suitable graduated measure. Normal dosage is 2 ounces per cylinder. I've got Al and NC at 20 on this one. Caution, pour in only small amounts at a time so the engine does not stall. Then adjust throttle to normal position and allow motor to idle for 5 minutes. And then replace air filter. So basically just the top engine cleaner is what it amounts to. I've got Al and NC at 20. Joke's coming in on Facebook as well, but he's at 15 and 16. So our high bid right now is Al and NC at $20. Big Job say 50s, early 60s era. I would guess that's probably about right. That's probably right in the vicinity of what I think this probably should be. That's right, David, similar to Seafoam. So cool can. Anything with a Pegasus on it is always great. So definitely, it's going to be a great addition to somebody's collection. Like I said, anything with a Pegasus, I love. It's a great symbol, and they're making their great cans. I've got Sebastian at 25 as we get ready to put this thing on the timer. And here we go. Sebastian at 25 is our high bid. And yes, David, it is a 1 gallon can, 1 gallon rectangle type can. Net contents, 1 U.S. gallon, 3.785 liters. So it is a 1 gallon can. And high bid as of right now, Sebastian at 25. And we're putting this on the timer on 90 seconds. So here we go. Sebastian at 25 is our high bid. If anybody wants to get in, everybody can take a drink while we are checking this thing out. As the timer is ticking, Big Job says, make it into a small lamp. That would be a cool piece. I've got Alec at 26 on Facebook. That's right. You see the little individual ones, but not always the big ones. Alec at 26 on Facebook is our high bid as of right now. 30 seconds have passed. We've got 60 seconds left. So if anybody wants to get in, Alec at 26 is our high bidder for as of right now. "45 seconds has passed. We're halfway through the timer. We've got Alec at 26. So keeping my eyes peeled if anybody else wants to jump in. 1 minute has passed. We're getting down towards the end. The last 30 seconds. If you want to throw a bid in there, be sure to sneak it in now as the timer is ticking down. 20 seconds left. Alec at 26 is my high bidder. Anybody else wants to sneak in? Sebastian came in at 27. I've got Sebastian at 27. If anybody else wants to get in, got almost about 10 seconds left. So Sebastian at 27. Terry's in at 30. Terry snuck in with $30 right there towards the end. And I've got Terry Sellers at 30, and that's it. Time's up. So I've got Terry at 30 on that one. Yeah, I do need a cough drop. My throat's pretty dry tonight for some reason. Maybe you guys need something to drink too. Hudson badge. So, the cool piece. Like I said, I paid a bunch of money for this thing, so I hope you guys like it, and I hope it pans out. But everybody likes the Hudson badge. I thought everybody thinks it's cool. So I'm showing you the Hudson badge right now because everybody needs to take a drink. Oh, but what's that? That's a Hudson badge too. And that's a Hudson badge too. And that's a Hudson badge too. And that's a Hudson badge too. What happened there? 2 Hudson badges. Yep, I found another Hudson badge. Very, very slight difference in the font. If we look at them very closely, a very slight difference in the font. But other than that, it's pretty much the same badge. Pete's already in at 20, so Pete's not messing around. But that's the cool item I'm going to auction off tonight, this Hudson badge. Somebody's going to get their own Hudson badge. I got Alec at 25. Yep, somebody's going to get their own Hudson badge. BW's in at 25 as well. Jess is in at 35. So, yep, somebody's going to have their own Hudson badge. So that might not be good if you drink a lot, but somebody's going to get their own Hudson badge. Randy says he can't drink that fast, but here he goes. I could have kept them both. I should have just done this and kept both of them and done that for about the 10 minutes before the auction every night. Wall at 36, Pete's at 40. But so I've got Pete at 40 and BW came in at 40. But like I said, it's a neat piece. I told you guys we were going to have some fun. I told you on Toy Tuesday we were going to have some fun with this. Alex in at 40. Rico came in at 38. Sebastian's at 45. That's our high bidder as of right now. Sebastian at 45. But and then Rico comes in at 45. So Jess is at 50. So maybe Rico and Jess ought to combine forces. But that's what I was so excited about. That's what we talked about on Toy Tuesday. That's what I've been talking about tonight. What year is this badge? That's a good question, Joe, because I had that written down. I just hadn't got to it. These are mid-teens to early 20s. There's a couple of different variables. Mid-teens to early 20s is kind of where they peg these at. Alec came in at 50. I've got Jess at 50 right now on YouTube. Alex at 55 on Facebook for the Hudson badge. Jason says, think my wife would sit on the couch and flash the Hudson badge for you. There you go. You could buy it and you could find out. So cool piece. I'm glad you guys are excited about it. Pete came in at 55 also, but I've already got Alec at 55 on Facebook. So we'll get ready to put this on the timer. Other than the slight difference in font, I don't know if you guys can tell the difference in font, which is pretty minimal. This one that we're selling does not have the back plug on it where this was pressed on. Mine has this piece here where they sat it up against the grill shell and pressed this flat to hold it on. That whole piece there is gone off of the one that we are selling. I've got Jess at 60. So Big Job says it's a good thing he's not drinking tonight because he'd be smashed. I got Jess at 65. But like I said, other than the font, it's extremely minor. Bill says you get the signs cleaned up. No, I have not washed those little signs yet from Toy Tuesday. But one other nice thing about this badge, real quick, I want to point out before we put this on the timer. A lot of times when I look at I'm starting to see on badges, when I start looking at a lot of these badges, like on eBay and things like that, or see other ones for sale and start looking at them close, a lot of these are being touched up, just like porcelain signs. You know, you'll see these things where the corner's chipped out where they just put white paint in there. And as of right now, our high bid is Jess at 78. Alec even at 70 on Facebook, but I've got Jess at 78 on YouTube, BW at 80. So one other thing I want to point out before we put this on the timer is both of these badges, even the one that we're selling, has not been touched up. I've got Brian dispatch in at 100 as of right now. If we look at this thing really close, and I'm going to focus on the one that we're selling because that's what everybody's paying attention to right now. This is all original. This has not been touched up. The white is original. The blue is original. This isn't one that somebody got carried away with, bent something, popped the enamel, and then repainted it. So both of these are that way. They're both in great condition. Lots of bids coming in, but right now I've got Brian at dispatch at 100. Alex coming in at 90 on Facebook, but I've still got Brian at 100 on the Hudson badge. So Big Joe says, come on, BW, show them the money. Alec at 110 is our high bid. We're going to get this on the timer. Reset the timer here. So there it is. That's Justin. Just she better back off. She's got to buy pistons. We're going to put this thing on the timer. As of right now, I've got Alec at 110 on the Hudson badge. 100-year-old, late teens, early 20s, 100 years old, not touched up, original enamel, super cool piece. 125 dispatch right now. Here's mine. This is going to be somebody else's. We're going to throw it on the timer. Right now, we've got 125 bid, and here we go. We are on the timer, so if anybody wants to get in, now's the chance. Sebastian said he's found some chipped up ones that are 130 that are already chipped up. So I think we're still okay on this one at 125. With this being original, that's pretty cool. So I've got dispatch at 125 as of right now on the Hudson badge. So 30 seconds has gone by. We're down to 1 minute left. And I've got BW says he better order Nova parts. He better bag off. So Sebastian says from what he's seeing, these things should be 200, and it could be. And I've got Kevin at 150. Alec came in at 130. Kevin came in at 150 on YouTube. Just past the halfway point on time. I've got Kevin at 150. 1 minute has passed. Jason says he sees 6 Hudson badges. So 20 seconds left. I've got Kevin at 150. If you're still in, Alec, you're running. We're getting down on time. About 20 seconds left. 10 seconds left. If anybody else wants in, we're just about wrapped up. I've got Kevin at 150. Just about done. Any other bids coming in? Alec at 155 is our winner. Right at the very last split second. I got Alec at 155. Alec played that just right. He just snuck in, but he got it. So I've got Alec down on that one on Facebook. He will now have his own Hudson badge to drink with. So anyway, that was a lot of fun. Thanks for playing, everybody. And I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. I was so excited when I found another identical Hudson badge because I know you guys dig it. And I know we have a lot of fun with it. So I was super excited to find it. And I'm glad that it's going to go out to somebody that appreciates it. Thanks for playing, Alec. Thanks for everybody that jumped in on that one. That was a lot of fun. We had a good time with that. And I'm glad everybody enjoyed it. So everybody's telling you, everybody on YouTube's telling you congratulations, Alex. So everybody's excited for you. Your own Hudson badge is going to be coming at you. So anyway, need a drink after that one. Only I'm drinking water. So I guess while we've still got it tonight, before Alex sends me some money and I ship it out to him, we can just do this. We can do this all night. That'd be kind of rough on everybody. Jason says he loves me. Thanks, Jason. I appreciate that. I love you back. Joe says more oil cans. Well, I don't have any more oil can. Only other oil can I've got out for tonight is for the raffle. So I didn't bring any more oil cans out tonight. I don't think I got anything laying here I can sell either. So I don't know if I got anything else laying here. So Alex says thanks to everybody. Thanks for the congratulations, and glad you got it. It's fun. It's exciting. It's a super cool piece. So, but you played her just right, Alec. I mean, boom, it was right there at the end. I was about ready to hit stop and call it, and it popped up. So anyway, that's what we had for tonight. I'm glad everybody had fun with it. I'm glad you were as excited about it as I was because it was a lot of fun. So who's ready to check out a magazine tonight? Tonight's magazine, once again, was sent in by Mike, who sent us a magazine a couple weeks ago. That's right. Big Job says Dispatch gave it hell. He did. He was in there. So we're going to announce the new raffle tonight, Sebastian. For this raffle will run throughout April since we're already at the end of March, since we just gave the pedal car away. So we're going to announce the new raffle after we get done with the magazine and get through the trivia tonight. So let's check out this magazine that was sent in by Mike to share with everybody. Great magazine, and the cover is awesome, and it's awesome. And Mike has one of these cars. He sent me notes that I've got one of these cars. And I ended up with an extra copy of this. He sent it to me so I could share it with all of you. The motor trend from March of 1965, the 1965 and a half Marlin Fastback. I think Marlins are great cars. I think they're super cool. They're a unique design. I don't think they get near the credit that they deserve, and I think they're cool cars. So let's go ahead and get into tonight's issue of Motor Trend from March of 1965. Now, as usual, when we get into a motor trend, Kevin says he'll wait on the next Hudson badge. We start with Spotlight on Detroit. Motor Trend always has a section called Spotlight on Detroit. Dispatch says it would have cost him 25% more Canadian. Yeah, that's something you got to think about, too. The Spotlight on Detroit in March of 1965 had some very interesting facts in it. Jess is a Marlin fan, so but there was kind of some cool stuff in here. Forecasts, facts, and rumors. Spotlight on Detroit. Remember, we're talking March of 1965. Big Job said he remembers seeing a lot of Marlins as a kid. So let's take a step back in time to March of 1965, which some of us can't do because I wasn't born yet. But I know some of you can. So let's take ourselves back to that time. Let's think about cars from that era and what was happening in the industry, even if we weren't alive yet, what we know about what was going on in the industry at that point in time. And then we look at these Spotlight on Detroit forecast, facts, and rumors. And that's what makes it fun. Cadillac engineers have developed a V12 for possible production in 1967. This engine, putting out about 500 horsepower with great smoothness, may power a luxury car costing from $15,000 to $18,000. Although this last decision hasn't been made yet, supporters of the project say there couldn't be a better time for introducing an American Rolls-Royce. Now, obviously, we all know that didn't come to pass. That didn't happen. But there again, that's what's cool about going back to looking back in time with 20/20 hindsight. Mark says he was born in May, so I assume that means May of 65 probably. So something else that was changing in the mid-60s in the car world, some 1966 models will be without front vents. These small windows are sources of a lot of wind noise on modern car bodies, and with the increasing popularity of air conditioning on luxury models, they aren't needed for ventilation. Look for them to disappear, first from expensive cars, then gradually from all lines as Detroit comes up with more efficient interior vents. There now, as we all know, by the late 60s, most vent windows had been phased out. So that did come true. Pete, $18,000 for the car or the drivetrain. The way I understand this, it was the whole car, a luxury car costing from $15,000 to $18,000. So I think that was for the whole car at that price point. Another thing that didn't happen, Pontiac's GTO may get optional aluminum wheels later in the 65 model run. These would be a die-cast wheel hub drum assemblies made by Kelsey Hayes, similar to those used on big Pontiacs. Obviously, as we commonly know as the 8 lugs. They're such a popular option on the big cars that Pontiac officials feel they're missing a good bet by not offering them on the sporty GTO. Obviously, we know now that didn't happen. So, that's what's cool about looking back at this stuff. Mark says, yes, May of 65, he couldn't read yet. So, another interesting thing, Lincoln in the mid-60s, obviously we're talking about suicide Lincolns now, may strip off some standard equipment in 1966. Reason, Lincoln list prices run $600 to $1,000 more above comparable Cadillacs, but this is only because Lincoln includes a lot of standard extras, radio, power windows, seats, doors, locks, white walls, that are optional on Cadillac. Total prices for similarly equipped models are quite close, so Lincoln will get in line with more options and less standard equipment for 1966. So there again, it's just looking back in time, and some of it happened, some of it didn't. Big Job, I guess only living north of Kenosha by 30 miles, probably a lot of Rambler Scramblers in Wisconsin. Yep, that's true. Speaking of scramblers, a buddy of mine just put his on Hemmings Online. If anybody's in the market for a scrambler, an all original paint scrambler, be sure to check it out on Hemmings. They even did a little write-up on it. Super cool car. I know the car personally. He's a good friend of mine, and it's a great car. It is really a great car. So if you remember those Hurst scramblers and you like those Hurst Rambler scramblers, be sure to look at Hemmings Online and check his out on there. But anyway, some other things that were happening in 1965, as we scroll on past the spotlight on Detroit, we're actually going to get into the Marlin test in this issue. Flip up a few more pages here to road testing the new Fastback Marlin. Big 2-page spread to start it off with. And there again, this was a totally revolutionary design. I like them. I thought they were neat cars. Solid Rambler virtues wrapped in an exciting new package with some added safety features. So it has action shots, testing, and this is kind of funky, and I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this, but I'll try to hold this up here close. You can see the interior shot as they're doing the testing. Look at all this equipment they have to mount in this thing to try to do these road tests back in the mid-60s. Had the wheel on the back, a little bicycle tire wheel for testing. Crazy. Yeah, big job. That car is awesome. Be sure that you go to Hemmings Online, and like I said, it popped up right away the other day when I looked it up. But it's a great car, and 40,000 miles, completely original paint. I think the seats have been redone. I think some of the drivetrain's been redone. But an original paint 69 Hurst Scrambler. Pretty cool car. Something else, a great shot of the rear of the Marlin right here, showing, really highlighting that sloping fastback roof line. Sebastian says, is it red? The Scramblers were all red, white, and blue. There were two different paint schemes, but they were all red, white, and blue. White body with, the red and the blue were the differences in the schemes, if I remember correctly. So, but it's a cool car. You can check it out on there. Some of the specs on the Marlin, they did not have pricing at the time. Too new, I guess, in the process. Standing quarter mile was 18.1 seconds at 76 miles an hour. 0 to 60 in 11.2 seconds. This was a 327 V8 engine is what this one had, with a 3-speed automatic. So this would have been a nice, fairly well-equipped Marlin. We can look at the interior shots and we see the buckets, console, floor shift, things like that. Definitely would have been an attractive car in its day, and I still think they're great today. The next article that followed this, and I thought this was really cool because of some of the pictures, and I'll show you the pictures. The next article, Designing the Marlin, how AMC's team of experts angled for and landed a handsome trophy. Hence the play on words on the Marlin, on a fish. What's great about this, though, are the sketches and the design studies. This stuff is so cool and so great. You get to see what they did. Look at the taillights in this prototype, the clay models, the stuff that they did to come up with this, somewhat at the time revolutionary design, where that fastback went all the way to the rear bumper. Big job. I was paving the old Rambler test grounds for a collision outfit that owns it 3 years ago. It's pretty cool. That would be neat. Virgil Exner. Well, I don't remember. This must have been a Virgil Exner design, I assume, David W. I didn't get through the whole article, so. But I thought that was cool, too. The next article kind of cracks me up. That's right, David W. It does kind of look like a Charger. They were pretty similar at that point. RX for automobiles, prescription for automobiles. as we shift off of the Marlin, that's right, Mark says ahead of their time. Awesome. That's true. And I agree with that. I think the Marlins are super cool. That's right, Kevin. The Chargers were Fastback in 6 and 7 also, so kind of hit at the same time as the Marlin. Probably being designed at the same time. They just didn't know it. So Big Job says a big piece of property when they did some paving there at the Rambler test grounds. J Brothers Garage, back when people had creativity and cars had style, and that is 200% correct, J Brothers, on that one. Absolutely no doubt. But as we shift away from the Marlin, this article just cracked me up. And there's a few things I want to touch on it. But prescription for automobiles, diagnostic centers prescribe the right remedies. And there's a small picture here that I'm going to hold up. Hope you guys can make out all the details in this. The mobile service center, our mobile repair center, the old signage, and this shows the building there, things like that. And what was crazy about when I just started looking at some of this article, but this is especially when we're thinking back to 1965. You were starting to see electronic ignition, but everything else points were still way more common than electronic ignition. We were just starting to see electronic ignition. The fuel injection we had was mechanical. The Bendix electrojectors from the late 50s did not work. Rambler experimented with them. Chrysler put a few of them out, and they didn't last very long. So there's just a lot of things there that were not just, you thinking of the technology, I guess is where I want to go with that. Think of the technology they were dealing with in 1965 and compared to where we're at today. And as we start looking at this article, it says, you haven't seen any big headlines in the daily newspapers about a revolution taking place in the car repair industry. Nevertheless, such a revolution is taking place and eventually will affect everyone owning and driving an automobile. The average driver who puts approximately 10,000 miles a year on his car spends about $150 annually for maintenance. And this tab doesn't include tires and accessory purchases. With 80 million cars and trucks on the road, the national repair bill runs to a healthy $16 billion a year. Sales of automotive parts alone totaled around $8 billion in 1964 and are continuing to rise. And with 3 and even 4 car families on the horizon and an estimated 100 million vehicles in operation by 1973, the repair business certainly qualifies as a growth industry. So it'll have to keep up with the times. Today's automobile is a much more complicated vehicle than anything in the past. Consequently, with more things to go wrong, it requires a great deal more skilled service than its predecessors. It's not only too complicated for the average home mechanic, but unfortunately is also beyond the understanding of many of our alleged mechanics. This is 1965 when they're talking about starting to see some transistorized ignition systems and things like that. But for the most part, it was still points and carburetors. And this is what they're talking about, that it's, how it's, a lot of people are already getting outpaced by the technology. And I thought that was just crazy to read that and think about where we are today with dozens of computers in these cars, the bus systems talking back and forth amongst each other, instantaneous calculations being made in nanoseconds, data being fed to us constantly, immediately, right in front of us. And they're talking about how technologically advanced things were in 1965. So it's kind of weird to read that. And they really went into a lot of detail on this thing. They had some great pictures. They even had a copy of a repair ticket from the mobile service center that they were talking about. And it shows a dynamometer where they actually put the cars up on the rollers, ran them through the paces to check for repairs. Today it's a dyno is not extremely common, but they're definitely out there. This was, state of the art, groundbreaking technology in 1965. So it was definitely different and definitely a weird deal. So when we consider where we're at today, and they're talking about all these technological advances and about how your average mechanic is getting outpaced by technology in 1965. And then I wonder what the person that wrote this article would think about today in 2022 with the technology that we deal with on a daily basis, and what the technicians today have to deal with on a daily basis. You know, just like Sebastian, our friend Sebastian, just started off as a diesel tech. You know, diesel guys, auto guys, body guys, even the body shops deal with a ton of this technical stuff. Mr. PFF Flyer said they would barf. Missed a few comments. Let me catch a few of these up. Kevin had to jump off, taking the wife to a late dinner. Say good night. Good talking. Say good night. Good everybody. Glad you made it for a while, Kevin. Mr. PFF Flyer last Friday had to program side impact sensors via our equipment patched through GM. Yeah, and that's a perfect example. Had to program side impact sensors via our equipment patched through to GM. Crazy technology that, when they're looking at this stuff here back in 1965, it's nutso. But cool article, and definitely pertains to the times that, going back in a time machine and looking at 1965 compared to 2022 and where we're really at with technical advances today. That's right. Kevin says their mind would be blown. That's about right. Jason says he's getting thirsty. We kind of got into the magazine. We forgot about that. Or how about this? Boom, 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 double shot. We can use that tonight. So that's right, Sebastian. The cars did look better. True. Yep. Amy, we are old and staying with our 86, 85, and 49-year trucks. There's nothing wrong with that either. But as I got through the technical article, got to another road test, and this is another interesting forgotten car as far as I'm concerned. Obviously, the late 50s, mid to late 50s, 300 letter cars are a big deal. Extremely high dollar, well known. However, these mid 60s Chrysler letter cars, I don't feel get the recognition and attention they deserve. Mark says muscle cars were starting to get bigger in 65, 66. Yep, there's some truth there too. But they had a road test on the Chrysler 300L. And I thought these were sharp cars, the 65, 66 Chryslers. I didn't think there's anything wrong with these cars, and they just really have never gotten the appreciation that I feel they deserve. Mr. PFF Flyer, my mind is blown. I started out wrenching on cars in the late 70s. Every day is a massing learning curve. Learning is more difficult as we get older. Yeah, and technology changes so fast that it's tough to keep up with. So this 300L for 1965 does show some good action shots with this thing. And we'll flip this thing around here. Got to lean it in hard into a corner, show some interior shots, shows the interior. Actually, a lot of similarities between this car and that 65 Newport that I've got in stock. 65 Newport two-door hardtop that I've got, 383, automatic, buckets, console, floor shift, almost a twin to this thing other than some trim, I think. So, David W., love those slab-sided Chryslers. Yeah, that Newport that I've got, if you guys didn't see the video on that 65 Newport, it came in last year, so it's going to be a ways back there, but that's a great car. Somebody really needs to do something with that car. I need to find it a home. 383 automatic, super, super solid. Like I said, buckets, console, floor shift, cool car. This particular 300L was powered by a 413, and it was a fairly well-loaded up car. Air conditioning, AM, FM radio with reverberator, leather, power seats, windows, vents, power antenna, trunk release, headrest, vinyl top, autopilot, so it had cruise control, tinted glass, seat belts, heavy-duty brakes, and suspension. Price as tested, $4,153. So that kind of puts into perspective when we're talking about the $18,000 proposed Cadillac that they were thinking about in that time. Because this is a Chrysler, it's a 300L. It's not an Imperial, but it is a extremely well-equipped Chrysler, and it was $4,100. They were talking about 4 times that for a V12 powered Cadillac. Sebastian, on Country Classic Cars, there's a 300L convertible for $16,000 and a hardtop for $8,000. Mr. PFF Flyer, old neighbor next door, has a 65 Imperial that he drives regularly. Yeah, those are cool cars. That's 65 Newport, Sebastian. I've got a 65 Chrysler Newport. Big Job says a boat with wheels. That's about right. But got a good action shot of it, right there. Still, even though it was a boat with wheels, it still got a good action shot. Bill says demo time. I wouldn't want a demo derby one. Obviously, these were not rocket ships. Quarter mile was 17.3 seconds. 0 to 60 was 8.8 seconds, which, considering the size of these things, that's not really terrible. But it did have a 413 and an automatic. It had a 323 posi rear end. So, for a big old car like that, that thing would scoot along the road pretty good and cruise comfortably, just like floating down the highway on your couch. Double shot of Hudson badges. All right, let's keep moving through and check out another road test. This time on another car that we seldom seen or really hear much about. Big Job says it looks mean coming at you. Yep, it does. Another pretty attractive car from 1965 that we seldom see, and we actually sold one of these at the auction, I think, a year or two ago at the F&E Collector Auto Auction. And it was a sharp car, and it's cool because it's something you didn't see. The 1965 Oldsmobile Delta 88 two-door hardtop. David W. says, ain't a sway bar big enough for that thing. Yeah. Mr. PFF Flyer, very comfortable despite their size. They handle better than most brands, in his opinion. Kevin's got a 69 New Yorker. So, Lori, what's the price on the Newport? I'd take $4,800 for that car. Super solid. Supposedly runs. The guy that I bought it from said it was running and driving. The transmission was slipping. He bought another transmission for it to have it overhauled so we could just swap them, and that transmission comes with it as well. So be sure to check out that video if you're interested. It's a cool car. Sebastian, demo derbies where the cars go to die and then meet the crusher, better known as the Steel Reaper. Yep. But on this 65 88 road test, once again, full-size car, but still had some action shots squeezed in. We see the little bicycle tire back there on their testing apparatus. And pretty neat old car. These cars had good lines as well, and something you don't see very often. This particular car had a 425 Olds in it, which was a big Olds V8. It was also an automatic, and the specs on this car: standing quarter mile 17.3 seconds, 0 to 60 8.6 seconds, or 8.7 seconds, excuse me. Base price $32.53. Price as tested $42.53. So neat cars and something else we don't really hear much about, but something kind of different. And that's what's cool. You don't always see these cars at every car show you go to. You go to a car show, you're going to see a 69 Camaro. 300L, 6588 hardtop, that type of stuff you don't see. That's another great thing about these magazines and the time we spend with them. We get to talk about some of this other stuff. David says that's a deal. Yeah, it's a pretty cool car. I really want to see somebody do something with that old Newport. Sebastian, you ship cars or I need to come pick it up? You can have them shipped, but transporters have to pick them up. They go by mileage. So just depends on, what your time frame is and things like that as to whether or not you've got time to come get them, but they can be shipped. I do have transports in and out of here regularly. Yeah, that's right, Sebastian. Some of those big old Chryslers are definitely underappreciated. But the 6588 I thought was definitely worth checking out as well. And the next article, we're going to switch to motorsports for a second here, to a small window in time when the Pettys, now the Pettys were racing, obviously. Most of you heard of the name Richard Petty and Lee Petty, and they're well known for racing and had a long, stellar career in racing. In oval track and NASCAR. How about when they went drag racing? Who knew they went drag racing? I know a lot of you guys do know that, but yep, the Pettys went drag racing. And this article showed a picture on their Barracuda build from when they went drag racing. This article says, for reasons well known to everyone who follows stock car racing, Plymouth's Pettys and Pettys Plymouths will make some spectacular detours to the nation's drag strips during 1965. Lee and Richard haven't been idle this offseason. They've been working on a Hemi-engined Barracuda Fastback, which they've campaigned in demonstration runs around the Southeast. Now, we're going to go through this real quick. It's just a short article, but there's a lot of things in this article that ring true even today. So that's what I want to talk about. Yeah, I think the car was wrecked. I'm not sure, Mr. PFF Flyer. Jason says he didn't know that. So Brian says that was the big job keeping up with the double badges. So real quickly, we're going to go through this article because history is repeating itself based on what this article is telling us, if you follow drag racing at all. So it says they put this Hemi Barracuda together and running demonstration runs around the Southeast. The car ran in the mid-10s at up to 140 mile an hour. Richard has done some exhibition drag racing in the past. He found strip owners or strip operators more than willing to pay for the honor of having him whip a few of quick quarter miles off for the fans. With NASCAR's current rules leaving the Mopars at a disadvantage on its stock circuits, Lee Petty decided a hot Barracuda might just be the thing to offset this setback. So I'm sure some of you guys remember that too, when NASCAR cracked down on the Hemis because they won everything. So that's when the Petties went drag racing. Big Job says he's on the Dew tonight. So I don't know if he's on Mountain Dew or Mountain Dew. Yeah, I mean, you could take that either way. So Jason says double badges. He thought they were quad badges. So I mean, Jason must have a pretty good night going tonight. So Mr. PFF Flyer says, a kid got hit, and that was the end of their drag racing. So Lee began with a stock Barracuda, driving it into his Randleman, North Carolina shop. He then set about gutting it, taking out absolutely everything, including engine, all running into soft parts. Petty had no shortage of Plymouth's famous 426 cubic inch Hemi engines. To handle the tremendous torque of this V8, Lee reinforced the chassis and body with heavy-duty steel tubing, and then went through the suspension and everything to, suspension, brakes, and built a full-blown drag car out of this thing. Let's see. Icarus, for a guy just starting to think about a 48 to 53 Ford Chevy GMC pickup for an LS swap, what should I budget for mid-range price? It depends on what you want. I mean, that's, some of those trucks are $5,000, some of them are $15,000 or $20,000. Not necessarily what I've got, but just in general, depending on the look you want, the type you want, which bed you want, which wheelbase you want, which style of cab you want. There's just a ton of variables in that question as far as what that stuff is worth. I've sold project trucks for $4,000 or $5,000. I've sold project trucks for $25,000. A lot of that just depends on the look you've got in your head of what you want your project to be, and like I said, which cab, which wheelbase, which bed, things like that all play into that. So Jason says, I wondered how he was holding up 4 badges at the same time. BW says, don't mix up the drinking badge with the auction badge. I won't, because like I said, mine's got the nub on the back. The one we sold is flat. The nub is gone. Kevin says, hail to the Hemis. Now here's where this article gets interesting, and what we're seeing today. Exhibition drag racing has turned hot stuff on the East Coast. It's common practice now for fans to look as much for showmanship and named drivers as for loud and fast action. One piece of showbiz involves sprinkling the strip with dance floor resin, then laying down long lines of rubber from the rear slicks of a dragster. This gives a uniform and excellent surface to run on. 2 hot dogs, usually nationally known drag racers, then run off grudge matches amid an announcer's frenzied fanfare and the crowd's wild hysteria. It's this new atmosphere that the Petties will enter. Their Barracuda, named 43 JR, 43 Junior, because the stock car was 43, will run against cars that have no technical specifications and no inspections, a class where anything goes but really goes. The Petties will still be active in stock car racing, particularly on the USAC tracks. NASCAR, where this team did exceedingly well in 1964, seems pretty well out for them, but judging by their NASCAR experience, Lee and Richard should do some remarkable things on the country's drag strips. So the number one made it tonight. Glad you're here, number one. But when we look back at 1965 and we look where we are today, where they're talking about exhibition drag racing, and we look at where we're at today with street outlaws. with the drag and drive events, which obviously I'm a huge fan of. A lot of the YouTubers, Cletus does Rocky Mountain Race Week. That's what is exciting about it anymore. And NHRA, I think, is trying to grasp some of that stuff, but I honestly believe they're behind the 8 ball on some of it. But we're seeing a resurgence in that stuff with drag racing. Obviously, a huge fan of Rocky Mountain Race Week. My buddy Matt does an outstanding job with that. Matt, Adam, everybody involved with that thing. That is such a top-notch operation. I'm proud to be able to help those guys and help be part of that because it is such an awesome deal. But that's what is so cool about it. That's where I see drag racing going, this new stuff. It's different. Bracket racing is not that exciting. Let's face it. I did it for years. It's not a spectator sport. But Rocky Mountain Race Week, Sick Week, the street outlaw stuff, it's popular. Whether you like it or not, it's popular. No Prep Kings, that stuff is cool. It gets people excited about drag racing. It gets people excited about cars. It gets people excited about our hobby. So I think it's great. So BWs haven't seen Old School either. Old School is here, I think. Number one was watching Notre Dame fall apart to Texas Tech. Okay. So there must be some sports ball on tonight or something. So wouldn't know anything about that. But that's what I thought was interesting about this Petty article was how exhibition racing was getting so big then and how we see that happening now. And that pretty much catches us for articles. Like I said, we could spend hours going through everything in this. BW says he went to high school with Jeff Lutz. Yeah, I don't know Jeff that well. I've never really met him. I know Larry Larson and Tom McGilt and a lot of those guys that run, Rocky Mountain Race Week with us. And in fact, we did a walk around on Tom's car out at the yard that day when Rocky Mountain Race Week came through. We were at Checkpoint. So we got a video on Tom's car where he was talking about it and walked us all around Tom McGilton's Why Not ZL1 Camaro that Larry Larson built. That thing's awesome. If you haven't checked that out, you need to look at that thing. And his twin brother, Mark. Big Job says Lutz is cool. Number one is on and on board saying hi to everybody. Mike's got to jump off. That's all right. We're going to get into some cool ads and keep boogieing through here. So glad you were here for a while tonight, Mike. Starting over with our first ad on the inside cover, the Olds 442 was here. There's no car in this ad. 442, lowest price, high-performance car in America. And there's no car because it was here. Shows the gravel road where it disappeared from. Number one, remember the Petty Enterprises factory sportsman race cars. BW is just something else for Jeff to track down track. So there's the first ad on the night. The Olds 442 was here. Obviously in March of 65, that was a pretty new deal. Haven't had any comments on Facebook in a while. It shows you guys, some of you guys are still on there. So glad you're here, but I am not seeing comments if anybody is feeding anything on Facebook. Let's flip up forward a couple more pages to a Hurst ad. It's got a Fastback Mustang, so it sure looks like a sports car. Now make it shift like one. Hurst Performance Shifters. Petty's the name in the racing game. That's right, Jim. Sebastian, have you ever had a 442? I don't think I've ever had one. Dad had a 66 convertible that was real rough one time. Is that Oldsmobile's attempt at a VW-style ad? Yeah, it might be, number one. But there's the Hurst ad with the Fastback Mustang and the action shot of the Hurst shifter rowing it through the gears, if this magazine will cooperate. Next ad, we're going to look at one of my favorite all-time cars. I absolutely love these cars. Alex says, have a drink on me, guys. All right, not a problem. We can absolutely do that. Boom. Double shot of Hudson badges. Thanks for reminding me, Alec. Appreciate that. BW says his son Jeffrey just picked up the new 55 or new 57 chassis, so they're putting another car together. Sebastian says his dream project cars. Just depends on which kind of 442 you want, Sebastian. They made 442s clear up into the 80s. Actually, they made 442s up in the early 90s with the Calais when it was a full quad four-cylinder. So they made 442s from 65 up into the early 90s. Scott just polished off a big bowl of ice cream. That actually doesn't sound like too bad of a plan, Scott. I could be down with that. But this next ad is literally one of my all-time favorite cars. That's right. Number one, you missed it. 2 Hudson badges. We have 2 Hudson badges right here. We just auctioned this one off. Alex, the new owner of this one. And we're going to ship that one off to him here in a little bit. But yep, 2 Hudson badges. Almost identical twins. Slight difference in the font, but pretty minimal. We just auctioned this one off. You missed that. 66. That's right. I agree, Sebastian. The 66 is a great looking car. BW's is the 442 G body is cool. Those are cool cars too. So, but anyway, this ad, number one says he just will call in sick for tomorrow now. So, but this ad, it's a black and white ad. As we know, still a lot of black and white in this magazine, but this is literally one of my all-time favorite cars. I did own one. It was not restored. I did end up selling it. It went to Sweden. And it was a convertible, and I don't know if I would prefer a convertible or a hardtop, but I really think I probably would want the hardtop. On the 1965 Pontiac 2+2. Stop telling me I'm beautiful. Love me for what's inside. The Pontiac 2+2 shows a suburban couple washing the car. So many great features about the 65 2+2. Obviously, we see the 8-lug wheels. I'm going to kind of geek out on this for a minute, guys. I'm just going to warn you right now. I'm going to geek out on it. 8 lugs, the fender gills specific to a 2+2, the 421 badges. So many unique features about the 2+2 that was different than a Catalina. And like I said, standard with a 421 3-speed manual. Obviously, most of them were equipped with a 3-speed automatic or a 4-speed manual, but they did come standard with a 421 and a 3-speed manual transmission. Let's see. So I've always been a big fan of those cars. One of the first cars that some friends of mine from Eastern Kansas had a beautiful silver blue one, and I fell in love with that car when I was about 11 years old, and I still love the 65 Pontiac 2+2. So definitely one of my top cars that someday, maybe, hopefully type thing. So, but anyway, like I said, I told you I was going to geek out for a minute, so I'm done geeking out. We'll move on. We'll catch some comments, then we'll move on. Now I'm through my little geek session there. Let's see. Jason's going for a root beer float tonight. Tony's going to call tonight. Glad you made it for a while tonight, Tony. Jason says, hike up your skirt, boys. Ain't nothing for us big steppers. So, Bill, you have to remember the 442 was here photo ad. Similar, he said it was similar to the TV commercial. Number one, if you love Chargers, you must thank DeLorean and his 2+2. Jim, when those cars came out, people had to build the rear of the garage out 4 feet down. Mr. PFF Flyer, hard to find those 2+2 Pontiacs. Yeah, and I love them. Back to Facebook. Chris has a 67 Olds and thinks the front looks better on it. Scott's had an 85 442 for 28 years and a 70 442. He's got a 70 and now a 70 442 W30. So yeah, 442s, they're again also somewhat of an underappreciated car compared to, you know, the Chevelles and GTOs of those era. Ain't that what you just picked up? I picked up a 66 Catalina. Very similar body shell, but grills, taillights, trim, altogether different. Kenny made it late, but he made it. Better late than never. As we get moving forward, now that I'm through my geek out section on the 2+2, we're going to move up a couple of pages. Check out the Mercury Comet. Why they drove 3 Comets from the bottom to the top of the world to show why the Comet's world durability champion. This kind of durability and beauty is yours in every 65 Comet. It shows all of the different parts of the world that they drove these Comets in on road tests to test their durability, show what they could put up with, to try to convince you that they had a very good, dependable car. Number one are 67, 68 Cutlass grills the same? Nope, they're completely different. Mr. PFF Flyer 442s were torque beasts. They were. Shopcat made it tonight. Good things happened today involving snow and 2-stroke oil. Okay. Not sure what's going on there, but you might want to check out Shopcat's channel and see what happened there. Or maybe not. I don't know. But as we're moving on from the Comet, this is another ad that's kind of different. Who's got everything from your Ford? For your Ford, your local Ford dealer, of course. And this is kind of a neat ad. It's an accessories ad. Rally pack dashes, detail kits, fender skirts, floor mats, Strictly a Ford accessories ad, but showing some really cool accessories. Now, even though we've been looking at a lot of black and white, there is a great color ad in this magazine. Another car that I am a fan of. It is the centerfold, so to speak. It's the center of the magazine, 2 pages, and it's in color. And I bet this is going to ring a bell with a few of you. A howitzer with windshield wipers. I bet some of you know what that means. Show the steering column double gauge pod again real quick. Okay, we can do that. Who knows what a howitzer with windshield wipers is? As we flip back to this other ad real quick. Here it is. They wanted to see the rally pack again. So there's a little close-up look at that. We'll hold it up there for a few seconds so you guys can check it out. Jason's on another fridge run. Well, you better hurry up and we'll flash some Hudson badges for you. We'll get you a double barrel of Hudson badges. So the howitzer with windshield wipers. What's the verbiage under it say? It says, a must for performance enthusiasts. This Mustang Rally Pack is a unique illuminated twin pod cluster with a 6,000 or 8,000 RPM tack and a precision electric clock. Has camera case finish, mounts on steering column, $79.95. So Jason says he's running. So, but the howitzer with windshield wipers, the new Buick Skylark Grand Sport. Super cool ad, in action shot. Red card, can't miss it. No problem. Number one, and that's, sometimes you guys see something you want to see again, and I move on too quick. We're here to share information. So somebody else may have wanted to see it too. They just didn't say anything. So no big deal. But I thought that was definitely a great ad. And we'll catch a couple more ads, and then we've got classifieds in this issue as well. Old School digs it, so. This next ad is actually for Champion spark plugs, but it's a pretty cool ad because it has the fastest thing on wheels in it. Yep. The fastest thing on wheels and fired by Champion. Art Arfon's Champion-equipped Green Monster hits a record average of 536.71 miles per hour. Number one, mid-60s Buicks, all like cars spies drove. Jason says running is hard. Well, at least you're back, and we'll give you a double shot of Hudson badges. Fastest thing on wheels fired by Champion. This was jet-powered by a GE J79 jet engine developing 17,000 pounds of thrust, runs on kerosene, gulps down 67 gallons of fuel per minute, and this flood of fuel is ignited by Champion. So definitely a statement ad right there for Champion spark plugs with Art Arfon's Green Monster on the salt flats. And the last ad we're going to check out tonight before we get into classifieds. We're going to come up with dispatch at. Eloy's moved to Jack Daniels now, so Shopcat was up to 289 but lost 4 subs within a half an hour. His goal of 300 by March, and that happened. Shopcat, trust me, don't feel bad about it. And that does happen. You'll get excited, you'll jump up a little bit, and and I'm not big by any means on YouTube. I'm a little dinky guy on YouTube. But that does happen. It's frustrating. It's disheartening. I've been there 100 times. So just hang in there and keep doing your thing, and it'll work. The last ad we're going to check out, the 1965 Plymouth Barracuda Formula S with a 273 V8, heavy-duty shock springs, sway bar tack, wide rims, and special blue streak tires, and simulated bolt-on wheel covers. On the back cover, full-page color ad. Dispatch says it was a Buick ad. Yep, could have been. So that's another great ad. Like I said, for no more color than it's in this magazine, it was cool to see some stuff. So, but classified ads in this one, always a few things that we wish we could go back in time and buy. And I guess there's one other little ad we'll look at while we're here too. For Shelby American, Cobra Racing Team Designs, shift knob, $3.50, t-shirt, $1.50, keychain, $1.25, lighter, $2, decal, 25 cents, Sebring poster, $1, 63 Champ poster, $1, lapel pin, tie tack, $1.25, 6 8x10 Cobra photos were $5, cloth Cobra emblem, $1.25, enormous t-shirt, $2.50. So kind of a cool little Shelby American ad right here that we're going to take a close look at for just a second with a super cool shift knob before we get into classifieds. BW, those bubble back glasses are getting hard to find. Yeah, for those little Valiant-based Barracudas. But what's in the sell and swap in March of 1965 in the back of Motor Trend in the sell and swap section? Go back to the Salt Lake car. Okay, we can do that real quick before we get into the classifieds. And there it is. There is the Champion ad with the Art Arfon's green monster in it. Now, on to classifieds. Odds and badges. Double shot. Sell 1936 Pierce Aero Brome. Complete original paint, chrome, upholstery, beautiful car. Forced to sell within 30 days, $1,100 for a 36 Pierce Aero Brome. But there again, hindsight's 2020, but of course $1,100 was a lot of money in 1965. So 1958 Packard Hawk, genuine leather interior, body, tires mechanically all in one, power steering, automatic, supercharger included but not installed. $1,200. Just like I said, crazy on prices on some of this. 1963 Corvette Stingray Coupe, lightened model, 64 winning A production Stingray Coupe, Midwest Council of Sports Car Clubs, $10,000 invested in the 63 Corvette race car. Sacrifice $4,000 for a 63 split window race car. What magazine? It is the March of 1965 issue of Motor Trend, Kenny. Sent to us tonight by our friend Mike. 62 Jag XKE Roadster, chrome wheels, new tires, top exhaust, mechanically perfect, very clean, very fast, 11,000 miles. Must sell $3,300 for an 11,000 mile 62 XKE Roadster. So it's crazy to think about, but it's cool to check it out and think and reminisce back. One ad that did catch my eye, it's nothing exciting, but the location, 1940 Buick Special 4-door, original solid clean, one owner, runs well, best offer, Lyons, Kansas, which is about 30 miles east of me. So I thought that was kind of different. Bill says, nice clean Sinclair piece. Yeah, that's a great piece too. Post the Stingray number so he can call on it. I think we'd all call on that thing. But there again, it's just amazing to look back and, now we're 57 years back at these classified ads and reminisce about what could have been. But when you look back in time and you think about those numbers, you got to remember, just like that, $4,000 for that Corvette, that bought you a new car, a brand new, fairly well loaded up car right off the showroom floor. That was a almost 3-year-old beat up race car for the same money with no practical use whatsoever other than being a race car and being really cool. So you got to kind of put it all into perspective. And when we look back in time, but it is fun to do. So that wraps it up for the March 1965 issue of Motor Trend, sent to us by Mike. What's the dinosaur's name? I don't remember what the dinosaur's name was. But good issue. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it. And it seems like everybody else enjoyed it as well. So, who's ready for a little trivia? Then we're going to announce the new raffle. We'll talk about some new inventory. We'll get ready to wrap this Sunday night shenanigan up. So, oh, just says Dino. Yeah, that's what everybody calls him. So, nope, Kevin, no cigarette or whiskey ads in this one. Those are typically in the 70s era issue. And I think that's, had a lot to do with, the government regulations on tobacco ads and things like that. How that affected a lot of that type of stuff. And I think that's why we started seeing more of those ads in the 70s. So no cool tobacco or alcohol ads tonight, but those are fun to check out as well. So, trivia tonight, we'll get rolling onto that. Old School is our last winner, so he's out tonight. And by the way, everything has been shipped from a couple weeks ago. Now, a lot of it didn't go out till this week since I was at the swap meet, but everything is on the way. The auction pieces and the trivia, everything's been sent, but I doubt any of it's there yet. So, Williams, 65 classified 65 prices account for inflation, and today's price need a bank loan. Sebastian, if I could go back with $100,000 and buy those cars, you'd have some really cool stuff. That's for sure. Let's see. Let's do some trivia. We've got another can tonight. This one's a little bit rougher. Part of it's a little bit rougher. This is a cardboard can. This is another one from our good friend Mike Shook at Auto Artistry, the pedal car winner from a couple weeks ago. So we've still got a few cans in the big tote that Mike brought us, and super great that Mike supports what we do. Be sure to check his Facebook page out and his website as well, autoartistry.com. I've got some videos on here that on my channel on YouTube when he put our 44 cab over together for us. They do some really cool stuff over there. Be sure to check it out. Nate finally made it tonight. The road trip ran long. Yep, the Hudson badge did well. Our friend Alec won it at $155 tonight. So that was the Hudson badge. And, well, of course, everybody else is having a little bit of a rough night with the Hudson badge when we're doing double whammy. We're hitting everybody with 2 Hudson badges at a shot. So it might be a good thing you weren't here tonight, Knight, because number one's that he's already going to call in for tomorrow. He ain't even going to try to make it to work tomorrow. So, yeah, the Old School wants a big job to play for him. So this can, another one from Mike Shook, it's got some tearing on the label. Part of it looks really great. Part of it is missing some stuff. This is another Phillips 66 gold can like we've given a few of away before, but this one's a little bit different. The other ones were all gold. This one, it's missing a couple parts off the white, but we can see the white V's up, and it goes all the way around to the back of the can. We've got the Trop Arctic and the Phillips logo on the back. This is a full can, so I will drain this prior to shipping. Eloy says, okay, now I have to get 2 shots of Jack Daniels. So anyway, this is the can for tonight's trivia. I will drain it and ship it out to the winner. We'll get the timer ready. Kenny says his mom, Roberta, is checking out the show for the first time in California. So let's say hi to Roberta, Kenny's mom. Glad she's on with us. Hope she enjoys the show, and hope she is having some fun with us and likes what we're doing, and is going to start hanging out with us some more. So let's welcome Roberta to the chat tonight too. Bill, the gas station attendant number 1. So that's the can for tonight. 10W20. That's kind of a weird weight, but that's what it says on the top. Of course, they had some different weird weights back in the day on some of this stuff. So that's for the trivia question tonight. I'm going to set the timer. As always, we're giving everybody 90 seconds on this, on the timer, to get the trivia answer. So got some welcomes and highs for Roberta coming on Facebook and YouTube. So thanks, everybody. Sebastian worked at Philmont Scout Ranch, where the owner of 66 owned and gave to the Scouts. Number 1, a pouring of vodka and soda with a Zamboni ice. So but anyway, there's the can for the trivia tonight. We're going to set the timer. We're going to ask the question, set the timer, and that's going to be the prize. We've got 90 seconds to come up with a winner. No, Joe, it is a cardboard can. So I got an early grill at the Wichita Swap Meet, an early mesh type grill, 20s, 30s era. What did I think that was? Timer set for 90 seconds. I didn't know for sure, but I had an idea of what I thought that grill was from. So watching for that answer, watching on both formats for the answer of the manufacturer of where I think that grill came off of. So we're going to get ready to talk about the new raffle as well that's coming up. And we're going to run this raffle through April since we're already essentially at the end of March, because time we gave the pedal car away, I was gone last weekend. There's no point in trying to squeeze one in here. Got a few guesses popping up, but nothing correct as of yet. Keeping an eye on things on both formats. We are about at the halfway point on time. No correct answers yet, even though I've got a few things coming in. So, is the Trop Arctic can a thin oil weight? 1020. I don't know what. So, number one, Essex. That's correct. Number one got it with Essex. I think it was an Essex. And then Big Job came in right after that with it as well. So, got that one in about a minute. So, squeeze that one in. Had some guesses on Facebook as well, but number one got it with Essex. So, that's it for trivia tonight. Stay tuned. We'll come up with some other cool, weird, off-the-wall question next week for that. Jason says he cheated. So, so anyway, didn't get that one all the way wiped off. Still had some dirt on that can. But time to announce the new raffle. We had a lot of fun with the pedal car raffle. Like I said, Mike Shook at Auto Artistry won it. And he's local, so he'll pick it up. And can't wait to see what they do with it. Like I said, be sure to check out his stuff, because they do some really cool stuff over there. And I'm sure he'll come up with some really cool stuff to do with the pedal car. So this next raffle is going to run through basically May 1st. May 1st is a Sunday. Jason says he might be intoxicated. Well, let's help out with that situation with a double shot of Hudson badges. So basically, we're going to run this through April. May 1st is a Sunday night. So May 1st is the night we will give away this raffle and announce the raffle for May. So Kim says, not if you're spelling intoxicated correctly. So there's a good check. That's a good way to check it, Kim. That's a good point. He spelled it correctly, so he's okay. So, in theory. But we could help him out with that. Boom, 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 boom. Double shot of Hudson. So, the raffle for April, end of March, and part of April. As always, it's going to be $1 to enter. You send me $5, you're in 5 times. You send me $10, you're in 10 times. And your name will go into the big Buick oil can. As of right now, it's empty, because we just did the drawing. We gave away the pedal car. We gave away the Wanda can. We gave away the weight rating tag. Empty Buick can. No names. Nothing. Empty. Ready for some people to start getting in. So you're all wondering. Big Job says his internet was too slow. Yeah, you were close. You were right after him, but yep, just a little bit slow. Eloy, I think I'm going to be intoxicated if you keep raising that badge. Boom, boom, double shot. So anyway, the new raffle, what is it? Well, you're all looking at it. Right there. The Sinclair pump plate is going to be the raffle piece for April. I picked it up at the Wichita Swap Meet. I'm pretty sure it's original. The guy I bought it from said it was original. He dealt in a lot of this stuff, had a lot of memorabilia, a lot of collectibles, a lot of signs. So, number one says, I now have a Phillips 66 collection from the channel. He's already half in the bag and already and still nailed it. Jason says autocorrect finishes the words for him. So I guess that works. You can go with that. But Sebastian says, I'll send mine in by the end of the week. That's fine. No problem. I've still got the couple pieces you won, Sebastian. Because Sebastian has a couple pieces that he bought, but had to wait till he started getting paid from his new job as a diesel tech. So, but yeah, Lee likes it. Lee says it's awesome. He's already down with the raffle. But yeah, that's going to be the main prize. That is porcelain. We can see a little bit of chipping around the edges where this was mounted to a pump. But it's a cool piece. I've already got one. So when I saw that at the swap meet, and I bought it with some other stuff, and so I thought, well, I could raffle that one, and it's a cool piece. And who doesn't like the Sinclair dyno? I mean, really. I mean, I don't really know anybody that doesn't like the Sinclair dyno. And the other thing about it, and this is another great thing about it, it's not huge. You can hang this thing anywhere. You can hang it in your man cave. You can hang it in your bathroom. You can hang it in the shop. It doesn't matter. 13.5 by 12. So it's 13.5 inches tall, 12 inches across. So it's not huge. Number one, weird request. Could you put some of the oil in a little sample perfume vial so you can collect oil samples? I mean, if I can find something to put it in, yeah, I can try to do that. Sebastian says if he wins, he's going to find a pump to unite it with. Yep. Alex thinks it's cool on Facebook. So it's a great piece. It's an original porcelain sign. So I'll keep it hanging up there so we can check it off, but I will take it down here one of these weeks so we can look at the back. But we'll keep it up there throughout this month so everybody can check it out. And then here in a week or two, we'll announce second place. I've got another idea for second place. David says his snow's almost gone where they can start getting cars out. That's good. Kevin says cool sign. Jason says he's about out of beer. Well, we can help you out with that. We can help you finish it off. Joe says Dino. That's right. So I call it Dino. Call it Dino. It's Sinclair. It's got a dyno on it. I'm cool with that. So number one, Sinclair, based out of Pennsylvania. I believe so. Kenny digs the sign. Big job. No, I did not sell the big job emblems. I've still got them. So if you need them, I've still got them. But I figured that would make a great raffle piece when I found it at the swap meet. So I went ahead and picked it up, brought it home, hung it up there, and we're going to give it away to one of you guys. So as always, $1 a chance. You can PayPal me, friends and family only. That information is in the text for this video on both formats, on Facebook and YouTube. The PayPal information, friends and family only, is on there. Mailing address is there if you want to send me a check, money order. Some of you guys just throw $20 in cash in the mail, say throw it in the raffle. That's fine too. So you can pay PayPal on that. If you want shirts, you can do the same thing on PayPal or check or money order. If you want T-shirts, I've still got some of those in stock as well in this style. So be sure to get in on this month's raffle. I'm excited for it. I love pump plates. I love porcelain. Love Sinclair. Can't wait to give that one away to one of you guys. So that's right. Big Job was right on your heels on that one, number one. David, gas is $102 for regular. I'm not sure where we're at there. Big Job says it's a great raffle item. David says $1.78 a liter. Okay. So glad you guys are excited about it. I hope a bunch of you guys want to get in on a shot on the Sinclair pump plate. Boom. Double shot of Hudson. And I think it's going to be a fun raffle. Got a neat idea for second place as well. So definitely go ahead and get in on that. We've got a little bit of time since we're going to go about 5 weeks on this one or so, maybe a little longer, maybe 6. But there's no point in trying to squeeze one in at this point in this month. We'll just roll it through till May 1 and then announce a new raffle. So that's correct, Kevin. It is for April. It will be the April raffle. We're just going to start it now and give it away May 1st. William, holy cow, nice sign sending in this week. Bill says Sinclair's Midwest. Okay. David, you look like the late, great Gary Carter, played for the Expos and the Mets. Okay. Thanks. I guess I don't follow much baseball. I used to collect baseball cards when I was a little kid, but that's about the extent of it. So I guess that's good. I mean, I hope he was a good player. So, but anyway, that gets us through trivia. That gets us through the raffle announcement, getting ready for the April raffle. What else happened this week? New inventory. Obviously, some of you probably saw the 66 Catalina video where I picked that up, and Barbara spent a few minutes with us and shared some of her stories about the car. Kim Winter says, LOL, I do look like Gary Carter. I guess I better look up Gary Carter because I have no clue. I just hope he was a good player. So David says he's in the Hall of Fame. Okay, I'll take that. That's good. Jason says, at least you knew it was baseball. Well, Expos and Mets gave it away as baseball. So I did at least know that much. So like I said, I did collect baseball cards when I was a kid. So the team names I do recognize. Number one, we've had a busy and odd March. So let's start making the show second banana for a while and let you catch up. Yeah. David says, Google him. Yeah, I'll have to Google him one of these days and check it out. So, but the 66 Catalina video, like I said, we shot that short video when we picked the car up. That was kind of a weird deal. Ooh, look at that. The lady, Barbara called me out of the blue. She'd gotten my name from somebody, and I don't remember who told her my name, but I do appreciate, people giving my name out to people that have these cars for sale. It was a pretty good run for me. It was like right on the Nebraska border. So it was a little bit of a jaunt for me. But she absolutely positively wanted to make sure that car did not get crushed. She's like, if you part it out, I understand it's rough. If somebody wants to build it, that would be great. But she goes, I absolutely positively do not want it to go to scrap. She did not care what happens. Just don't let it go to scrap. I said, it won't go to scrap if I get it. So then she was kind enough to do the video with us, share some of her stories. And then it was kind of funny. I got a text from her late that night with another story. I put that story in the text of the last video, but I thought it deserved more than that because of the significance of the story and the car. So the next video that on the car where I actually rinse it off, we actually do a walk around on it. I started that video off by telling her story for her and what that car actually meant and what a lot of these vehicles mean to people. Even though they're inanimate objects, they are still major, major characters in our lives. And that's what the situation was with this Pontiac. She never could understand why her husband would not get rid of that old car that was sitting in the shed until it hit her late that night after I picked it up. And so that story's coming on the next video. Like I said, I touched on it a little bit in the text on the other one, but I felt it was worth telling. So that video is coming up with a little more detail. Plus, we rinse the car off, give it a bath, and give it a good walk around. So that video will be coming up too with more information on that 66 Catalina. But it is a good looking car. It is a two-door, so I was kind of excited about it. Pete says, glad you included her in the video. Funny how she talked about the stuff that went on in the car. Yeah, I thought that was pretty entertaining as well. Because, let's face it, most of these old cars have similar type stories. So that is very true. But most of those old cars do have those stories as well. Buchanan made it tonight. Glad you're on with us. So that was great. Sebastian, the scrap heap breaks my heart because of the character of the cars that we lose every time. That's right. How about that? How about that for some character right there? Double shot of Hudson. So I picked up the Catalina. Picked up another Suicide Lincoln, 68, a little bit newer one, but another 68 another Suicide Lincoln came in this week. Kim's got to sign off. Got to work tomorrow. I perfectly understand. Big job. Do you ever see an Inco gas station signs? I always see Esso. When I was a kid, I rented the neighborhood Inco service station for a shop. Yeah, I've seen Inco before. I don't know a lot about them, but I've seen it. Number one, I'd rather overpay for the story than underpay for the car. So that was fun. Also picked up a load of new old stock GM this week. Not a ton, one pickup load of new old stock GM. Buchanan, are you selling or keeping the Pontiac? I'm going to sell it. I'll sell it or part it out. But like I said, and in fact, we agreed on a price over the phone. She sent me a couple pictures of it, and I just shot her a price over the phone. And I couldn't see a lot from the pictures, but I said, this is what I can do, especially considering, almost $5 a gallon diesel and having to go almost to Nebraska to get it. And she said that's fine. I don't care. Just as long as it's not going to be crushed. And I said, it won't be crushed. Trust me. So she says, that's perfectly fine. William, better than resembling a most wanted photo of the post office. Yeah. But Sebastian, how much do I want for the car? I need to look it over a little bit, or I haven't got the trunk open. I don't know what the trunk floor looks like, some things like that yet. So I don't know for sure where I'm going to be at on that car. But I made her an offer over the phone. She said, that's fine, as long as it's not going to be destroyed. I said, it will not be destroyed. She said, fine, come get it. They had the car out for me and ready to go. Had tires aired up. I had one that had gone back down, but they had tires on it ready to go. And she told me when I got it, she goes, I don't even want anything. She goes, I don't want anything for it. Just take it. As long as it's not going to be destroyed, just take it. And I said, no, we agreed on a price. I'm going to pay you. And she said, she says, you can do what you want, but I don't care. Just don't crush it. And I said, it won't be. So I said, I'm going to pay you what we agreed on. And I'm going to, I need to get a bill of sale and all the paperwork. She said, that's fine. She goes, but I'm going to donate it. And I said, that's fine. I mean, but I need to pay you what we agreed upon, because that's what we agreed upon. So I gave her a check. And then she texted me back a couple days later, said, your money's been donated to a worthy cause in her area. So the money went to help other people even as well. So the whole story's good. Joe, do you have any 60 to 66 trucks, Chevy truck silver books? I'm not sure on that. Let's see. Lots of stuff popping up here. Let me catch a few of these comments real quick before I get too far behind. We get this cat out of the way. Different cat came to visit us tonight. We got a black one up here tonight. So what are you doing, dum-dum, besides being in my way? Let's see. Lots of comments. Let me get to some of these comments real quick. Jason, great point. It's hard to explain, and it goes beyond just cars, but just things from the past. And that's right. And I tried to do a very good job sharing Barbara's story on this next video about what that car meant. And when it hit her, because it literally hit her, I think the text came in at like 2 o'clock in the morning, which, sucked because it woke me up. But it hit her as to why that old car sat in that barn. And he didn't want to sell it. And what it meant to him, and then in part of their farming history, their family history. So we'll talk about that on the next video. It's really great. But you're right, Jason. It's just things from the past. They do mean stuff. Grant, Straight Six fan, and our good friend Grant Tommy, be sure to check him out on a Straight Six fan on his channel. There are like 3 shoebox Fords up my way that are yard worthy. So we get some info on that. We have to do a little bit of checking there. Oh, option books for the 60 to 66 Chevy trucks. I don't think I've got any of those, Joe. Norman, what's the most popular car or pickup you have? And that varies all the time. I'll get 5 calls for one thing one week and not get a call for it for 6 months. It just completely varies. Number 1, you got to check all the ashtrays and under seats for treasures for second place in the raffles and trivia. You could do that. Maybe we'll find something cool. Shop Cat, that's right, Jason. I was thought about the day someone brought one of my pieces of junk home back when it was brand new and they were so excited and proud. And that's completely true too, Shop Cat. That's another great way to put it. Kenny, just curious, how you graduated into dual Hudson badges? Well, I've only got one now because one of them is going to be owned by Alec. No, Joe, still don't have an air cleaner for your 283 on your Chevy pickup either. So I haven't forgot about you if one pops up. But the 2 Hudson badges, I bought this one at the Wichita Swap Meet a week and a half ago. We just auctioned it off, or last week. We just auctioned it off. Alec on Facebook won it, so we're sending this one to him. This one we're going to keep around. And I'm going to keep flashing them like this, and then none of you guys are going to make it to work tomorrow. So, let's see. Got a lot of comments. Yeah, Shop Cat, meow, meow. Kevin, pick up any vans in your new inventory? Yes, I've had 2 more vans come in. 74 Ford Econoline, 86 Dodge, both full-size vans. Said Grant, send those Fords to Edmonton. Sebastian says, let him know I think it'd be cool to figure it out, drive up and get the Pontiac. So yeah, give me a call on it and I can send you some more detailed pictures. Be sure to check out the other video when I post it up and get a good look at it, Sebastian. I should have it up sometime this week. Let's see. Shop Cat found a great Ford in the right color and amazing condition. So that must be up in Canada. Let's see. Okay. Grant, Straight Six fan, should be pulling the 306 cylinder out of his high school truck next weekend. And that actually is there again, just like we talked about what stuff means going back. Grant found his original high school truck, which was an inline six Ford pickup with a 300 in it. Hence his channel, Straight Six Fan, for offbeat hot rodding. So be sure to check that out because that's different stuff. Number one, I got to climb out on the balcony and roll a beer. I'm going to be in a coma. It's not high school. I can't drink professionally anymore. I'll help you all out with that with a double shot. So anyway, batch of new old stock GM came in this week also. Haven't really sorted through it. I've got a whole bunch of parts coming in. A friend of mine that is thinning some stuff out, and that's where I got the GM stuff. And I've got a whole bunch of stuff that I'm going to be getting out of some of his buildings that we just kind of went through. He's like, hey, he had some stuff kind of grouped together that I've bought and already paid for. I need to start dragging in. So we'll be bringing you some of those clips as well. I'll probably stitch all that together with the new old stock GM that I just picked up out at his place this week. So lots of inventory coming in there. So stay tuned for that. What's coming up on videos this week? I've got a lot of videos shot that a lot of this stuff that I need to show you guys, just like the vans, the 74 Econoline I haven't showed you. I got a video on that. The full-size 86 Dodge van, something you don't see very often. And it's technically it's an antique now. 35 years in Kansas is an antique, and it's an 86. So it's an antique van, as crazy as that sounds. Joy, looking for a rear bumper jack for a 58 Chevy. Don't have anything there for a 58 Chevy car. Joe, any 60 to 66 Chevy truck, new old stock? Don't know. There was a fan blade in there marked 5859 GMC, I know. So I don't know. There might be. I don't have any clue. So don't really know. I just kind of boxed it up and hauled it in. And I show some glimpses, some shots of it, some overall shots of it, but I haven't really dug into much of it deep. Let's see. Sebastian hunting for his granddad's 67 Camaro. It's in Australia, apparently. So that might be a little tough to get back a hold of. Jason just says, man, I love Sunday nights. Well, I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. I'll hit you with that too. But it's kind of crazy that you guys all hang out here and we have this much fun. And it's really turned into this because of your guys' involvement. So like I said, invite your friends over, tell them to come over, hang out. We have a lot of fun on here. Old school is going to bail off. But last thing we're going to catch, what videos are coming up. I've got the video on the 66 Catalina ready. The two vans. I've got a 78 town car. Oh, yeah. Rolling in the Lincoln town car. Big old town car. Got to get that up. The 68 Lincoln. So the town car is cool. It's lots of cool stuff coming up. So, and more things happen all the time. Kevin, are the vans in running condition? No idea. Didn't try them. They are complete. And then I got that 84 Ford van too that I put the video up on a couple weeks ago. And they are all intact with engines in them. The 74 Econoline, the radiator's gone out of the 74, and the carb might be off of that one. The 84 Ford and the 86 Dodge, from what I could tell, do appear to be intact under the hood or engine cover, however you want to put it. I didn't pull the engine covers. I just looked under the hood and you kind of peered back in there, and they look pretty much intact. So Sebastian's got a town car in the same year, so he'll like to check that video out. Jason says he may exaggerate just a bit. Boom, Hudson. So. American Skull made it tonight. You haven't been by for a while. Glad you stopped in for a minute. But anyway, that's about what I've got for tonight. I'm at the end of my page, so we'll start wrapping this thing up. As always, I'll keep an eye out for other questions, comments as we roll through here and get ready to wind tonight down. Still amazed that you guys keep coming back. We have a lot of fun, lots of stuff going on here. Had a blast tonight with the Hudson Badge auction, and great time hanging out with you guys. So, like I said, I'll keep an eye on comments for just another minute or so here. Nate, love big Lincolns and big cars in general. Yep. And Nate just got a great one too. I was super excited for Nate for his new project car. And I'm going to go ahead and give it away, Nate. So I hope you don't care, but because I'm pretty jacked about what Nate just picked up. Hudson badge like a button. How about a double shot of Hudson badge? Nate just picked up a 1977 Buick Estate wagon. Super awesome. Love those old wagons. So actually pretty jacked up for Nate for getting a hold of that wagon. Cool piece, and glad he was able to add it to his collection. X-Ray Dean made it a little bit late. But yeah, we're about wrapping up, but you made it towards the end. Sebastian's favorite Lincoln is a 1960. So those are pretty unique cars as well. But anyway, Dispatch says, great show as usual. Thanks. Well, I appreciate that. This is all you guys making it what it is. Had a blast tonight. Can't wait for Alec to get his Hudson badge. And like I said, you can PayPal me, friends and family, on any of this stuff. Send me a check, money order. That information is in the text part of these videos. So you can mail me a check, PayPal, friends and family, whatever works for you guys, as well as get into the raffle for the Sinclair pump plate we're going to be giving away. Number one is the ladies' Pontiac replacing the dad's Olds as the nobody's giveaway car. No, probably not. So anyway, Nate, it's pretty cool. His son loves it, and he can't wait to try out the rear-facing seat. Yeah. So saw Nate at the Wichita Swap Meet, got to touch base with him for a little bit, and super excited about his Buick wagon. That's going to be a lot of fun. Anyway, that's what I've got for tonight, guys. Sebastian, has anyone ever seen a 42 Ford 3-window Zephyr? Well, that would have been a Lincoln Zephyr, but they did make coupes and Zephyrs as well. Kenny says, Roberta says, thanks, but is concerned we're a bunch of nobodies. I told her that's about right. That's pretty much true, Kenny. So glad Roberta hung out with us for a while tonight. Hopefully she comes back. Norman, looking forward to the next video. And we'll get some more up this week. William says, be careful, everyone. Have a nice week. Don't spend too much at the pump. That's true. Joe says, auction the Diamond T emblem and more oil cans or truck magazines. Yeah, I don't really want to auction my Diamond T badge. It's the only one I've got. But, hey, you never know. I may stumble across another one of these days. Stumble across another Hudson badge. I didn't figure I'd do that anytime soon. Boom, boom. That's got to be kind of tough on you guys. Let's see. Big job. Great night, gang. Chad, thanks, Chad, for the church services. Number one, let's get serious for a minute. Find a pickup. We'll come by and work on the 4th of July and blow up a Cavalier and give away the truck. Kevin, 104th show. We're counting. Yes, you are correct, Kevin. This is the 104th episode right there, according to my notes, as long as I can count, which is debatable some days. Yep, episode number 104. William, 68 Lincoln land yacht. That 68 Lincoln is a land yacht. So, number one, if you find a third Hudson badge, you drink with us one night. Yeah, I get so dry from talking, from you guys sitting here listening to me for 2 hours, that I would be so dehydrated it would drive me nuts. Scott, need a badge for ice cream. That's a good point too. I do like ice cream signs. My daughter and I have a lot of ice cream signs that we've picked up over the years as well. So, but let's see. Lots of comments popping up. Especially good night. Don't let the bud buzz bite. Norman says Sunday nights are always fun. Norman says I can do Jello shots. There you go. So, anyway, that's what's cooking. There's the dual Hudson badges. We may squeeze those in one or two more times as we wrap up. Keep an eye on comments for the last few seconds here. Great night, everybody. Had a lot of fun. Had a lot of fun with the auction. We'll find some more cool pieces to auction off next week. We'll do some more trivia next week. Glad everybody's excited about the Sinclair pump plate for the raffle. It's going to be a fun one. And like I said, I've got a couple of cool ideas for the second prize. And I bet giving away a porcelain pump plate. I got a hankering or a good feeling that we're going to end up with 10 people in. So I probably better find something for the third name coming out of the big Buick oil can. Joe says, great show again on Facebook. Thanks. Glad you're here. Rusty Nails says, what did I miss? You missed all kinds of stuff tonight, Rusty Nails. We had a lot of fun, including dual Hudson badges. So anyway, hey, guess what? If Alec mails his payment, I might not have it by next Sunday night. You guys better stock up. So we'll see if he's going to use PayPal or if he's going to put it in the mail. Because if he puts it in the mail and I don't have it, you guys might have two next week too. So That could be fun again. Big job. I got a lit Borden's ice cream sign right here in the kitchen. Dan says, great show. Russ says, I got two. I had two. Done sold one of them. We auctioned one of them off tonight. So, yep. Jason just says, dang, he's having trouble keeping up, I think. So, but anyway, that's what I've got. I'm going to keep an eye on comments for a few more seconds as we wrap up. I think we're being a little tough on Jason tonight, but that's all right. We had a lot of fun. That's the entire point. We talked about old cars. We shared some stories. We got more cool videos coming up. I'm hoping to find some more cool stuff this week to bring you. So Kenny says that's a problem when we're watching on two devices. Kevin says he hopes the check bounces. So Scott on Facebook says, heck yeah. Rusty Neal says, what did it go for? $155. And it was a great badge because it was, I'll hold it up close so you guys that weren't on earlier get a little better look at it. None of this is touched up. This is all original enameling. I'm seeing a lot of these badges kind of like porcelain signs. When they get chipped up, they're touching them up with paint. This is an original badge, non-touched up, great piece, nice and flat, cool piece. So Alec was our winner on it. So we'll see if he mails the check or PayPal's. He might be pretty excited to get it, so he may PayPal. We'll see. But if he mails the check, maybe if you guys can talk Alec into mailing the check to where I don't have it till next week, then maybe we'll double up on him again next week. So that's kind of up to Alec whether he mails the check or not. So let's see. Big Job says Jason probably won't roll out of bed till next Sunday. But anyway, there they are, 2 Hudson badges. Kevin says, see you on Toy Tuesday. There's the Hudson badges for tonight. Thanks for watching, everybody. I appreciate everybody stopping by, hanging out for over 2 hours again. All of your guys' participation, your involvement is what makes this what it is. Rusty Nail says, what is next week's? I don't know yet. I don't know what we're going to auction off next week. We're going to give that Sinclair pump plate away on May 1st for the next raffle, so be sure to get in on that. Norma says, thank you for another great Sunday night. Thanks for doing this. I appreciate everybody's support. I appreciate your kind words, and it still amazes me that you guys do enjoy what we do here, and you come back and you thank me for what I do, and it's about you guys and your participation that makes it what it is. Sebastian, this we should just send in another one for the fun. Jason just tossed up a little puking emoji, so I'm going to help you out with that there, little buddy. But anyway, great time tonight. I'm going to sign off. Been a long week for me, so hopefully I'm getting back on a little bit more of a normal schedule. We'll see what I can pick up this week and see what's happening. Going to try to hit an auction this week, try to pick up some cars this week. Ought to be a good time. Thanks for being here, everybody. Stay tuned. We'll do some cool stuff on Toy Tuesday. The next couple of Toy Tuesdays are going to be memorabilia that I picked up at the Wichita Swap Meet. We picked up some other cool pieces there. Those are some really sick-looking green, unhappy faces emojis, like sick-looking emojis Jason's throwing up there. So we're going to check out some stuff there. We've probably got the next two Toy Tuesdays to do on that. I've been looking around my office at home. Holy crap, I got a ton of stuff in my office at home I need to look at on Toy Tuesday as well. Need to be bringing some of that stuff down. We need to work on some more World War II stuff. We got a lot of cool stuff to do on Toy Tuesday, so we will definitely catch another one of those 7 o'clock Tuesday evening on Toy Tuesday on YouTube only. If you're on Facebook, please remember I do Toy Tuesday on YouTube only, so be sure to check that out. Eloy says, thank God I ran out of Jack and Coke. So, so Eloy's safe. He ran out of hooch. Plus, we're going to get these other videos up this week. I don't know which ones we're going to get up. We've got the vans, we've got the Lincolns, we've got the Catalina, we've got a lot of cool stuff. So be sure to check those out as well. And Shopcat says signing off. Be sure to check out what he's got going on his channel on YouTube, see what his videos look like. This is all about this community that we're building, the support we're having, the fun we have. Oh, one other thing, Roadkill Customs was not on the night. Talked to Buzz yesterday, and he was at World of Wheels Kansas City this weekend, which really sucks because I usually always make that show, and I didn't this year, and then found out that Buzz with Roadkill Customs was there. So he wasn't on with us tonight, but that's okay. I'm sure he'll be back next weekend. Those guys do a ton of cool stuff over at roadkillcustoms.com. Definitely want to stay in touch with what they're doing as well. So That's about what I've got for tonight. I'm going to wrap it up. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for being here. Stay tuned. We'll see you on Tuesday. X-Ray Dean says, poor Jason. That's right, poor Jason. We better hit him one more time, though, on the double shot of Hudson badges. We'll see if Alec pays for this right away or if we're going to wait on a check and we've got it for next week. Otherwise, thanks for playing, everybody. We had a lot of fun tonight. Thanks for the participation in the auction. Thanks for the participation in trivia. Be sure to get in on the Sinclair raffle. Shopcat says, thanks for hosting. You're the man. Well, thanks. I appreciate that. So anyway, that's it. That'll catch us. Sebastian says, Hudson for life. There we go. Double shot of Hudson badges. We're going to sign off on this thing. We'll see you all Tuesday night, and we definitely hope to see all of you back here Sunday night, 7 o'clock next Sunday for Sunday Night Live Chat. Tell your friends, invite them to come over, hang out. We always have a lot of fun. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for making this for what it is. We'll see you next Sunday night at 7 o'clock and hopefully see you 7 o'clock Tuesday night for Toy Tuesday. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you soon.